Start. All right, everybody, and to begin. No idea what we're talking about tonight, so going to let it run, and I will see you in about an hour. Okay. All right. The human body will last from the cradle until the grave. The Great Spirit will last eternity, always was and always will be. The soul, however, is in a very different point of view. It is drawn from the unified spirit into the individuality of the spirit, and therefore creates the human body according to the experiences that are wished to live. And the soul's purpose is to find its way back into the unified state. So what was once separate is to become one once more. Now, the separate state, of course, is a state where one thinks they are unconnected. But that is indeed not the truth. The truth is that everything is connected, that all things are part of one universal whole, but the soul, knowing it is to find its unity, tries to find its way back to the unity, not really knowing that it is already there. So therefore, the creation of the individual takes place, and the experiences that the soul thinks it must learn in order to find its way back. And all the experiences are gained in many different lights. But none of them truly satisfy. And the soul believes then a bigger or a different experience will take it to where it is aiming to go. But at some time, the soul finally realizes that it is not about gaining, but rather it is about stripping away the falseness that has grown on its skin like barnacles upon a whale. And therefore the mission becomes an internal mission, and one starts to drop away all that does not matter. And as there is a cleansing that is occurring, then over a period of time, more light starts to shine into the physical life. When more light shines into that physical life, then there are a lot more coincidences and validations and strange occurrences that start to become experienced around the individual. And the individual starts to embody that light. And the light will work in whatever way the light must work. And gradually, over a period of time, many false qualities continue to fall away. And it appears from the individual that their life is becoming easier, but their challenges are becoming bigger. Easier in that the smoothness of life seems to be far more common. The lumps and bumps that are in the road seem to be easier to go round or go over. But what remains are the far bigger, more substantial things that the soul should let go of. For some, it is as much as some assets, some a quality or a way of living life. For some, it is an opinion, others knowledge. Some even have to let go of love. And they must let go of these things and make decisions and the decisions must call them forward. But these are not so easy to do. Would you be willing to let go of love, thinking it is love that you truly require? Are you willing to let go of the ones that you do love, seeking the unity? And then you question and say, is all of this worth it? If I have to leave behind all that I have held dear and have sought to acquire over much time, why should I leave that behind? Why should I leave behind the very essence of all that is important? Why love? Is love so wrong? But the love I am talking about is the love within the physical world. Often a love based on conditions, but the conditions are not always seen by the one giving the love. And what do they acquire? Well, in letting go of a few coins, then they inherit the earth. In letting go of the love which is just for one or two or four or five, they gain the love that is eternal. They cease to be one who has peace, becoming the very essence of peace itself. When the body then will fall away, what remains with this individual is the experience and the acquisition of this universal peace. So you're letting go of the limited and gaining the eternal. Letting go of just a few coins to gain a mountain of gold. Letting go of just a few to gain all. But that is very difficult to persuade an individual to do. Would you be willing? Would you be one who would be willing to let go of love of your family on the promise that you will love all and all will be your family? Would you be willing to step away from a career that offers you so much, even if it is very rewarding? Would you be willing to move to another location and say goodbye to all those things that you have acquired over many years? So these are at least a few of some of the bigger, more difficult requests that are made on one who is chasing a spiritual path. But these requests occur at various times, and they always come with a measure of pain. The pain, of course, is a sign of change, the change that must be taken, the changes that must be endured. And the individual knows of these changes to come, even if they know not what they look like. Now, this, of course, I have referred to in part as a change in the external world. But by far the biggest is the internal. By far the internal changes which are thrust on man means that the individual starts to look and feel like a very empty being. And each step forward, they become more empty. They become hollow. And when they are hollow, at times they may face their greatest adversaries, themselves. And they must battle themselves and battle their old needs and wants, their own points of view, and all that they have learned. Far too many people think that they are what I know, and they must know an answer or must provide a result. But this is, of course, the falling away of the egoic part of the mind. So the stripping away of the ego is the royal path. It is not for ones who are just starting. It is not for ones who say they would like it. But it's a path that is to be endured. And they do this by building love within their being. They build their love until their heart is rich. Yet they still must go further. The rich heart seems like it is performing the tasks of loving the world. Yet there is always a little piece missing. And some may find their love by loving some deity, god, or even a false god. They say, I have found my God and I am devoted to them. And I seek no other thing. And again, they dwell in the bliss of this devotion. And this bliss, this devotion, this deity that they think they have, always seems to be demanding on them. Demanding of more love and more sacrifice or surrender. And they always seem to see that their object of devotion is a statue, an essence, a certain form that they may think is attractive. And for some people, they think that form is not attractive, but they worship it unrelentingly. But this is the very point. One who says they are peaceful have not found peace yet. One who says I am loving has not found the true love yet. One who says I am here are not present in all its requirements. So this path of devotion and love towards their deity or God means that they must take the step of even leaving this behind in its limited form. But this becomes the hardest of all, because this state of pure bliss becomes very captivating, rather like a comfortable bed to the weary traveller, who is then asked to get up and to go out once more. But they may take this emotion and look deeper into it and say, where does this love come from? Who is it that I am in love with? Who has created this love, and who decides who has it and who does not? And then the true journey begins. The journey for some may only be a few steps at this point, but for others, it still may take lifetimes. And they take this very essence of love and look into its depth and find that they cannot find something on the other end. They seek what they think is the ultimate God, the ultimate spirit, the very essence of all creation. They think at times they catch a glimpse, that they see it like a shadow walking past the eye. And they see it, and it becomes very elusive. So elusive that it cannot be held, it cannot even be looked at. It cannot respond to anything. What must they do? Where must they go now when they hold all of this in their hands, and yet they have not made their destination? Well, here they must surrender all of their love, not the limited, but the love in magnitude. And say, I will not hold this any longer. It is not my love, it is your love. And you have given me this gift, and I give this gift back to you. Not because I do not want it, but because this gift is meant to be shared. And if they do not receive the instruction that they so need at this point, they will dwell here potentially for 1,000 years. But as they surrender the only thing that they possess, then they realize that they were the love that they held. They thought that the love was something they possessed, but it was something that they were. They thought that the knowledge that was with them, but they were the very knowledge. They thought they had the presence and purity of mind, but they had to become the very essence of truth. And they can go from being peaceful to being peace itself. From one who is loved or in love to the very flow of love from top to bottom. And now there is no sense of self, no sense of an individual, no sense of a body. That is long gone. Their sense of presence of one who is here with love now becomes the universality. It becomes an expansion that love is in every corner, and the individual exists at all time in all places. The individual has no bounds because unconditional love cannot be defined in structure. And therefore, as time has now gone and space is just a concept, they become the eternal presence. And in this eternal presence, they then are capable of all potential. And all potential then is let loose into every corner. And the potential but needs focus. To focus on just one speck of dust in one distant location. For that speck of dust to be a birth of a body once more. So the cycle of man and God is a circular one. You could say it's 5,000 lifetimes in one direction, and then a tumbling down to begin again. So what then was one now becomes an individual. And the individual holding what it thinks is all it needs, steps out of the Garden of Eden and starts to look for heaven. And the creation is created once more. So the spirit then becomes to the man and says, I will not leave you. And the presence of spirit next to all individuals is without compromise. Because the spirit is playing the game of life and pretending once more to be an individual. And the experiences as the individual begins its path through all the egoic needs, the dangers, and the heavy vibrations as it picks war rather than peace. And the individual chases its needs, thinking, this will take me to my pure self. And if this journey, if it is true, is 5,000 lifetimes, and if you face that in front of you, would you not want someone to show you the way? Would you not want someone who would say, the answer is within? Or would you like to stumble around in the dark by yourself? If you saw the great scheme of things, all would say, I would like a guide. Alas, all too few can see through the eyes of a wise master. But that does not mean that the guide is not given to the individual. In fact, at this stage, this individual at its most gross form is surrounded by more guides, more spirits, more angels, if you like that term, than at any other time. One who is lost is given all that they need to provide the way. Yet they cannot see this guide. They do not perceive it. Even if it is there, would they know what it looked like? So those who are sent to help the individual must help in very gross ways in order to talk the language of one who is so lost. And therefore, there are teachers in front of each individual at this level, left and right. But they must just look that way. They must just look towards the light of others. They must trust the beauty that prevails when there is darkness. But the individual that is in this darkness seeks more darkness, and battles and wars, with a limited few or with many, occur as one starts to defend their sense of self, believing in a false God, believing in the boundary across one hillside is theirs to own. So what would you say or do for this individual? If you saw one that's lost in the darkness, what do you do? Do you go to them and say, "This is my map, you may take it"? Do you offer them the money for the nearest ride to the next location? Do you offer them a pillow and a bed? Or should you offer them friendship, or even avoid them because they must learn their lesson, mustn't they? Is that what you would choose to do? But the true guide, one who is there to truly assist another, does not give more assets, more pillows, more money. But the true guide, what they do is shine their light. They hold love in the darkest of corners. They bring their radiance into the most troublesome of time, in the most difficult of places. These people are the most wounded, the most hurt, and yet their heart is rich, not wanting another to suffer the same fate. And they walk into the mountain and look a lion in the eye. And the lion looks at them back. And the guide says, "Take me. My heart is yours." And this little glimmer of light shines into the heart of the other. And the seed of truth is planted. And that seed of truth waits for its time. It may be days, months, years, or lifetimes, where that seed then has the appropriate water and nutrient will spring forth to the individual, and they begin their journey back home. And they must walk that path then until they know nothing else. So you too are the teacher to many. You are the guide to many. You are the guide, yet you do not know you are the guide. You are the one to hold the torch of light. And you must hold it so that it is as bright as it can be. And each morning you must dust the glass of your lantern so that it shines brighter than it ever has shone before. And you hang it on the outside of your building. You hang your shekel of light, and you wait, because someday, somewhere, someone will need it. Now you hang that shekel with the light attached to it, for it to be as bright as it can. And if necessary, you buy a bigger lantern. It is not your job to go and knock on the doors of some strange places and say, "Do you want some light?" It is your job to be the biggest and best light you can be. And even if you are surrounded by the most difficult of circumstance, the guide is meant to shine the light. So the light comes through the veil from the spiritual side and sits in the world of fog and illusion. So this journey is a journey of the Spirit calling to the Spirit. It's a journey of faith and trust and love and surrender. It is a journey that asks nothing, gains nothing, but endures much. And you are on that journey. Where on that journey is different for all. The only thing you have at this time is the light that is in your heart. We, in the spiritual form, are the light which shines in your heart. It is your truth that comes forward. It is your truth that burns down the world of Maya and illusion. So who are you to play the game of a small existence? Who are you to limit yourself? You do not serve anyone by playing small. Rather, you expand and you give and you wait, or your light will attract others, and your journey as a guide in the illusion of many is to guide others into the light themselves. And each one you gains your light. and you become the purity of spirit itself. And then you must endure those final painful steps of letting go of all that you thought was what you were. And the cycle ends to begin again. You have no choice on this. You have no choice to say, well, I've done a few laps now. I will put my feet up in the corner. That is not a choice you can have. As this is the cycle of all existence, far beyond 5,000 lifetimes, far beyond the billions of years that this universe existed. Do you think this universe is its first time around? Do you think that there was only one bang? Do you think there is only one universe? So you must live this life with joy. You must shine your light with love. You must honor your presence with others. And you must give it all away for what truly matters. So all you can do is enjoy. Your enjoyments will come, but at times your challenges will be there as well. But they are all the play of the wheel of samskara. So live with love in your heart and undertake your work. It is time for you to be the best that you can be. God bless you all.